Good morning, St. George's. It is the 18th of November. Hard to believe that we are so far, so fast. This year has gone very quickly, but here we are. Today I want to speak to you about the commemoration day that it is today, which is the commemoration of St. Hilda of Whitney. Whitney. Why do I keep saying Whitney? Whitby. St. Hilda of Whitby, as in Whitby, Ontario, not Whitney, Houston. This feast day is celebrated in various days throughout the entire church. Sometimes today, sometimes tomorrow. There are a few traditions that have it occur in June. Hilda lived between 614 and 680. So many years ago. She was a princess. She was the child of rich Anglo-Saxon tribe, which then around the age of 13 was invaded by another tribe. However, they took her in, and around that age she was baptized, became a Christian, and she went on to found the monastery. She was the abbess of the monastery at Whitby, which was chosen as the synod location for the Synod of Whitby in 664. Hilda was very well renowned. She was known for her wisdom and counsel. Popes asked for her advice. They followed her. She had quite a following in establishing her monastery. And more than this, she was a model of Christian leadership in a time where women just didn't have the power in society that they now are, let's say, beginning to have, because there are many places in the world where they don't, where there isn't equality. And even here we see at times rampant sexism and misogyny. The church is no exception to that. There's an icon of Hilda standing with her abbey in her hand, and her abbess's crook, like a bishop's crook. And the women who ran monasteries had a power and leadership that women often didn't have otherwise. And it's an incredible example for how much following the path of Christ can allow us to transform those structures around us that don't serve God's people in the best ways possible. We're coming up this month on the 30th, the Feast of St. Andrew, the day on which our Carol is being ordained as a deacon, and a number of other folks, and a number of other women. And it is also the date of the first priestly ordinations of women in the Anglican Church of Canada. And it is such an important occasion for us to commemorate and for us to remember, and that it was some 40 years ago. I don't remember the exact date off the top of my head here, but it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago that women were not permitted to stand at the table of Christ and preside over the sacraments. I remember as a teenager coming into my chaplain's office, going to a Catholic high school, and she had a sticker, like a bumper sticker, on her wall. And I'm going to paraphrase this terribly, but it had said something to the effect of, the true measure of Christ's love for the world will never be known until women are able to take their rightful place in the ministry of his church. And that struck me so powerfully. Coming out of that background, I mean, one of the reasons I am an Anglican today and not a Roman Catholic is because I feel so strongly about the important place, the equal place that women have in Christ's ministry. And it was women who called out Jesus, who reminded Jesus of who he was, who were leaders in the church in ways that we sometimes only get glimpses of. When you think of the time, the writers of the Gospels and the writers of the letters It was not a time in which we, as a society, lifted up women. But yet it sneaks through in the gospel. You have occasions where the hemorrhaging woman reminds Jesus of his ministry. The woman at the well reminds Jesus of his ministry and who he was. And on the morning of the resurrection, on Easter morning, it is Mary who witnesses the risen Christ. It is Mary who runs off and tells her brothers who do not believe that this has happened. It is she who has the first faith of the church. It is she who is the first witness to the resurrection of Christ. For a few moments to a few days, she was the entirety of the church of Christ. We forget that far too easily. And so today I give thanks for all of the women, known and unknown, for desert mothers whose writings and thoughts we have lost, for women who were sisters, women who were abbesses, women who fought against the power structures that wanted to keep their voices silent, for women in the Anglican Church who struggled to be recognized for their gifts, and for all of those women who still have yet to see those gifts realized and recognized and loved by the world. And we need that so desperately. So I give thanks for them today, and I ask God to guide us, to continue to guide us, that his ways may be known and shared, and that his sacraments may be opened to all who are truly called. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you, and God bless you.